Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 413 and 415 South Harrison Street. We have a duplex here in Newburgh. We're located up on the rooftop. We don't have access into the home, so we're doing this through the vent. I've already pre-scoped part of the line here to look for a clean out, and I believe the clean out is actually inside the garage. So we're going to keep on using the vent here. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running, as you can see here with the hose. Once we get the camera down to the base of the vent, and it should be tying into 4-inch ABS. I really don't have any ability to double check that, unfortunately, without seeing the clean out or anything, but generally these duplexes are 4-inch pipe. We're going to zero out here at the base of the vent. We should have water running here in just a second. Here we go. And it looks like we do have some standing water in the crawl space area here. We'll take another look at this on the way out when it's all drained. And for right now, just because all the twists and turns, we're going to just run the camera through here as fast as we can to get it out to the street. And then we'll take a good look at everything on the way out when it's all drained. And right about where we're at now is where the clean out is, at least where I thought I saw the tie-in. Alright, we just hit a transition there. Looks like it just switched over to terracotta clay pipe. And now we're in 3034 PVC pipe. Now back to clay. And that's our main lateral there at 90 feet. We're going to let the line drain out here for a few minutes before rolling the camera back in. And I'm going to go locate the camera head just to see where the line terminates. I just walked up and down the street quite a ways. I'm not picking up any obvious signal, but we do have a lot of overhead power lines, which can really mess with the locate. We'll try and relocate here in just a little bit. See if we can get an idea of where it's headed to. Best I can tell, though, it looks like it's going out the front, out to the street in front of the house. Now, this has obviously been spot repaired here. Not sure why exactly, but that's what that new piece of pipe in there is for. We're at the transition here between ABS and clay pipe. We've got some junk collecting at this joint here because it's not a totally smooth transition, which is pretty common with when you meet old or new pipe up with old pipe. We also have a belly here in the line, it looks like. I'm going to reel back here a little bit and see how significant it is. So the standing water starts here about 70 feet. At this point here, we're at a 1/4 inch of standing water. It's kind of thick with debris, though. I have a feeling that some of the junk in the flow line here is kind of artificially damming the line up to a certain extent. The worst that gets there is really about 1/2 inch, and we're talking about maybe 2.5 feet of pipe there. This transition joint here, we have some debris that's collected at it. Let's see if I can get up against it again here. There is some debris there. There's kind of one strandy looking item. There's like a white, it almost looks like a sucker stick. But I'm not seeing any obvious root intrusions protruding from that joint. Whenever I see debris that's collecting out like that, more than likely it's simply because there is a lip there. And obviously, new pipe and old pipe are not made exactly the same, so this is often what you end up with. Anyway, as long as you're not flushing things down the line that shouldn't be going down there, this spot is not going to be problematic. In my opinion, it's not worth digging the line up to fix about a 2.5 foot section of pipe there with barely a 1/2 inch of water in it. Typically where I see regular old toilet paper start to build up in a line is once you get at least 5 feet of pipe with at least an inch of standing water static, when there's no water running. That's where I start to see toilet paper collect. I'm not talking about paper towels and stuff that shouldn't be going down there, but the stuff that is intended to go down the line. Now, for that reason, I'm not recommending any repairs there. Now I'm going to do another locate here. I'm going to push out just a little bit. In fact, I'm going to try and go out here to the transition point, to the clay pipe, and see where that's at exactly. I'm hoping by that point we can at least pick up on the camera head. All right, I did locate it successfully here, and yeah, the line does in fact go out to Harrison, and we are right where the driveway meets the sidewalk area. And in Newburgh, generally the city takes responsibility at the right-of-way, which is usually right at the sidewalk here. So it looks like the clay pipe here is going to be that of the city's responsibility. Not that it's in bad shape, but it's usually one of those items that has to be repaired or replaced at some point. And when you look at the driveway, you can see the ever so slightest amount of depression in the driveway there, where it looks like the line has settled a very small amount. Again, in my opinion, it's not worth tearing up the concrete to fix a 2.5 foot long belly with about a 1/2 inch of water at its deepest point. The majority of it only has a 1/4 inch or less. We should be coming back into the garage at this point. I believe we're going to see the clean out here shortly. A little bit of standing wire there. That's like a 32nd of an inch. That might as well be nothing. There is a fair amount of grease that's in the line, it looks like. All said and done, we may recommend a Hydrojet here to clean the line out. I think I thought I had seen a clean out at some point. I might not have. Oh, there it is right there. That tying in there is going to be the clean out, and it appears based on my locates that it is just inside or up against the rear wall of the garage, probably near whatever entrance goes into the house there. Now we're coming back through the crawl space here at this point. Got a belly here. It looks like it dissipates out at about 20 feet. So far here we're at about a 1/4 inch of standing water. I mentioned earlier where I normally recommend repairs when I get at least 5 feet of pipe, at least an inch of standing water. If you get a long stretch of pipe with, let's say, a 1/2 inch of water, it can be about as significant. It's usually not as significant as even 5 feet with an inch of water. But right here we do have an inch of standing water in the line. And a fair amount of debris buildup throughout the crawl space section. This is stuff I'm not going to be able to locate, unfortunately. I don't have access into the house or anything of that nature, but it should be pretty easy to figure out as far as a repair guy goes. I'm going to recommend a spot repair here to correct the And this is the, again, in the crawl space area, essentially right at the base of the vent. And I'll show which vent I'm going off of here. There's a few up on the roof. But from the bottom of the vent out to 20 feet, I do recommend correcting the slope and grade. About, 7-8 feet of it has 1 inch of standing water. The rest of it is hovering around 1/4 inch, possibly up to 1/2 of an inch. But you cannot correct part of a belly. You have to fix the entire thing. So I do recommend a repair to correct that. If a repair is not done, and it's not the line's not functioning, it is still functioning. We don't have any blockages or anything going on in the line. At this point, there's adequate flow, as we don't have major debris built up in the line, but there is some grease and stuff collected in it. So if a repair isn't done, I recommend getting a hydrojet performed to clean the line out. That will at least get whatever's in there out of there, and it won't contribute to any further debris buildup. If you're just putting folded toilet paper down the toilet and making sure that you're not putting any grease or cooking oil down the kitchen sink, you can still put food down the disposal. It's the fats and grease that are the big problem, as well as flushable wipes, cleaning wipes, tampons, things that shouldn't be going down the line. Those will hang up there like crazy in that belly. Regular old folded toilet paper is more than likely going to shoot through that spot with very little issue. Grease and stuff will hit that water and stand. It will float to the top, build up on the sidewalls, and can collect other stuff as it comes down the line. So I do recommend a repair there to fix that, and that is all within the crawl space area. Beyond that, we've got one other about 2.5 foot long belly out near the sidewalk that I don't recommend fixing. It's just too minimal, in my opinion, to start tearing up the concrete and spend thousands of dollars to fix something that's very small and extremely unlikely to cause anything to collect in the line. Now, at this time, the line is functioning. It's not functioning properly due to the standing water, especially that 20-foot stretch throughout the crawl space. But at this point, we do have adequate flow to the main lateral. If you get a repair done, I recommend a rescope to make sure it was done correctly. And a lot of times, and I can't hold me to it, but in a lot of circumstances, what happens is the strapping that holds the pipe in place in the crawl space may have stretched and caused the line to settle. So sometimes it just requires going back in there and adjusting strapping. Other times you do have to actually cut pipe and adjust the angle on the line. So kind of depends on what we've got going on down there. And again, if a repair isn't done, I recommend a jet to clean the debris out. If the line gets repaired and it drains proper, for the most part, most of that junk's going to flow on out of the line there with little issue.